So we're recording. Thank you so much, Shantanu, for doing this. I'm really glad that you could make out time. How are you doing?
All good. All good. You tell. How are we doing on this Sunday afternoon? I think yeah, we're recording it.
Yeah, it's an afternoon. I just went out with family,
Okay.
for some shopping and stuff. I don't know. I just got back, had my lunch, and
Okay.
yeah. And what have you been doing? What have been the past week? Because we're now for almost nearing an year of COVID. So
Yeah.
how has the curve been like for the industry in terms of work, in terms of wealth? Because there was a time when all of it shut down in a second, and then this slowly opening up, and now we're almost in the normal back again, as we know. So how is the industry function from the inside?
Uh, it's obviously taken us aback. A lot of us have felt that we've gone back 2 3 years in terms of how we were doing because there are newer formats of content that have come during the lockdown. So essentially, before this lockdown situation, a lot of the focus was there on production. What are the production qualities? The setup needs to be in a specific way of anything that we're doing in terms of the creative, the art, and everything else. Now it's more about only focusing on the content. If the content is good, nobody's going to care about what's behind you, what's in front of you, is your makeup on point or not. Nobody's going to care about all those things. So just to give you a background, I think March se pehle, before this lockdown actually came into effect, there were so many of us who thought that 2020 is going to be our year, and personally for me as well, I had so many of these amazing projects lined up. There was a travel show. In fact, there were two travel shows that I was supposed to be a part of, that all got cancelled because here we are dealing with a pandemic, and we can't really move out of our houses. We can't really meet the other person without the 2 feet difference in the middle of us. So it's obviously taken us a lot back. Brands have run out of their budgets because they, whatever they could, they've already spent it on social. Obviously, if COVID has taught us another thing, it's the fact that we need to be really, really careful about where we're spending our money, because obviously it's not a finite source. Uh, that has also happened. So, but now that we're going back, I think we'll definitely go back bigger and better now. Obviously, we've taken a lot of learnings during these uh, past 9 10 months, so it's all gonna come into effect now that the economy is opening up, and the creative industry is finally going back to where it started.
Mhm. Yeah, so that was very interesting. As you said, that the production quality and the content, because a lot of which what I've noticed, like people who were sitting at home now, they had a lot more time on their hands, and there
Yeah.
are intelligent people all over the place. They are in different industries, but as they started to get home, they had no option. Like a lot of them, they started YouTube channels or Instagram or anything. I know of this YouTube channel by this person called Siddharth Warrior. He's actually a neuroscientist, and he started streaming on YouTube in uh, in the lockdown, and now he has what 35,000 subscribers. So yeah, the lockdown gave many people an opportunity to have a creative outlet, and as much as good it was for the individuals. I guess, yeah, that's how you said, that's how it took the brands. वो brands के लिए उतना बुरा हो गया, because what they all depended on was their big production, their good cameras, and their big teams, and all of the suddenly everything is dismantled. And the TV shows, basically the traditional forms of media, all of them had to take a seat back. But this new age media, the YouTube, the work, like basically all of the content industry from the individual's perspective, it blew up. Even me, I started my journey in this professional podcasting space, or the
Mhm.
YouTube space, anything. I all of it I started in the lockdown. So I believe, I believe so that the as we go along, this trend of individual creators will take over somehow. They may be able to take over brands, or may build their own brands. uh, so what do you think about this? Do you think this could happen, or
I think
would
it's a
there be
very
the big introduce
interesting,
the
it's a very
institutional economy
interesting
still
perspective.
exist?
Yeah, it's very interesting perspective, and I don't think that it's the future, it's the present. That's exactly what's happening right now, that individual creators have taken over these publication houses and these media houses. So if you look at probably what um, the traction that probably a medium mid-sized production house would have, usse zyada attention right now influencer like Usha Kapila or Dolly Singh has on their own personal Instagrams. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
competing brand to brand, they are definitely at the same level, if not like far ahead. But there is another thing that we need to keep into account is that all these production houses, because they come with a very solid backing, these new age content creators don't. And if history has been a representation of anything, every year there is a new content creator that comes. Every year there is a new content creator that was ruling who goes back. Over the years, we've seen so many of these new people coming up and then gradually they go. Like, for example, if you remember 2, 3 years back, Dinchak Puja used to be a big sensation. Everybody was talking about, her songs. Everybody was talking about. Obviously, it was like a cringe content, but she did make it to Big Boss. She got a bomb to be a part of Big Boss. You can't deny the fact that she was a success. Everybody heard about her songs. But then, where is she now? She's creating songs, but those are not still that popular, right? Whereas a Rajashri production would still be popular
Mm-hmm.
right now, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, or even 10 years down the line, because they have that kind of solid backing and background. So, obviously, both situations are very valid at this point. And interestingly, the content in media and entertainment space right now, इतना जल्दी वो change हो रहा है, इतना जल्दी it's fluctuating, इतना जल्दी so much rampant changes are happening that it's very difficult right now to predict what the future is going to be in the next couple of
Mm-hmm.
years. I think for me as a content creator, as you rightly mentioned, I used to create so much content for brands, but I wasn't a content creator myself. Like, I used to write content, I used to create content for brands, but then I started my own Instagram account during the lockdown because this was finally the time that I had some time to myself. कि अपने ऊपर भी थोड़ा focus देते हैं, which is how I started to focus that okay, now I'm creating content for influencers on the side. Let me also try and be a part of this content creation
Mm-hmm.
process, like, as a person who's facing the camera. So that is also something that I did during the lockdown itself. Uh, will that take over the brand space in terms of the big publication houses and the big production houses that are creating content that is very extensive and very uh, high in terms of production competencies? I think it's very early to comment on that right now, and I don't see it happening right now. I think the films will continue to be films as of now,
Mm-hmm.
but you can never say never. The way OTTs been changing, the way how these small 1 minute short film formats are taking over these long 2.5 hour film formats. I think anything can happen right now. So it's just something that we'll have to see in the future. Right now, it's too difficult to comment and predict anything, any change in the space.
So from my perspective is what I see is, I see these big individual creators growing big, really big, and then becoming a brand or a production house in themselves. For example, there's this foreign YouTuber, an American YouTuber called Mr. Beast. So he's a brand in himself. He has a team backing him up, but in the end, he's the person who's no the face of it.
Yeah.
So as individual brands grow, as more and more money is being shelled out into people by brands, not in production houses, as soon as brands, they don't spend money on a movie, on a
Mhm.
Krish 3 or on a Dhroom 3, and they spend money on people, let's say a Shantanu Jain or a Siddhant Agrawal or a Kusha Kapila or Dolly Singh. When they start pushing out money in there, then then the money, it's going to multiply, it's going to grow a lot. And there could be a place, because the thing is that every person is a brand, because that's what a personal brand is. And as big as your personal brand will grow, you'd also need people to do stuff. You cannot do all the stuff by yourself. So if this continues, if this trend continues, then there may be a possibility of these people becoming a brand for themselves, as big as a production company, not taking over them, but maybe being in competition.
They are already
Red
in
maybe a
competition,
Red
Siddharth.
Chili's entertainment will be sometime in the next 20-25 years be afraid of a YouTuber, who's as big as them. Because with the advent of Geo, a lot of India is now coming on the internet. और
Yeah.
जैसे वो इंटरनेट पे आएंगे, they'll discover YouTubers, you know because in India we don't have individual YouTubers with like 50 million audience, 100 million audience, but there is an audience for them. As soon as they get on the internet, as soon as they have the numbers, as soon as the CTR, as soon as the CTR, as soon as the CPM, which is the cost per minute, in YouTube AdSense, as soon as that increases, as soon as more money is shelled out by brands into the YouTube space or in any content space, there is a possibility that they can get bigger.
So they're already a competition as of now, and that's what we're seeing in the sense of how brands also want to spend their money. So today, if there is a lifestyle brand, they are more likely to spend money on an influencer or an influencer marketing campaign rather than going out to a big production house and say कि मेरा 30 सेकंड का एक TVC बना दो. That's already,
Hmm.
and there is, that's actually a fight that everybody's fighting right now, which is why you'll see every day there are lakhs and crores of people who are coming on the internet, and everybody is a content creator, right? You may
Hmm.
not create a video content or a funny content or a relevant content, but for example, if I can just post like a 1 minute, a one line sentence of a major news article, I can get a lot of followers with that as well. So that also makes me a content creator.
Hmm.
So right now, uh, they're obviously, the big production houses are sweating already. Look at how 2020 has been in terms of uh, the success of what we've seen on OTT. We saw big production houses shelling out big amount of money onto these films. They've not worked, whereas a small show like a Little Things has done phenomenally better.
Hmm.
We've seen films, big budget films like a Lakshmi Bomb really bombing, and
Hmm.
not anything, versus whereas we saw something like a Panchayat that
Hmm.
did amazingly well
That
for
was
every,
TVF, right?
that was CVF.
Yeah.
So it's obviously it's there because people have right now realized that there are two things to this entire debate. The first one obviously is the fact that people have forgotten about the stars.
Hmm.
Right now, I am very certain that even if Salman Khan, everybody talks about how Salman Khan films will not flop, but it will happen. It will happen because people have realized that the time is finite. Our attention span is finite. You need to either win it in that time or you lose us forever. And that's what will continue to happen. So relatability, factors of what touches a chord among people, and what your content is, what is the story that you're trying to tell, is actually going to take precedence over my production budget or my star power or who's acting in it and who's not acting in it. I don't think that's going to matter now anymore. We've seen very big stars and their movies performing really badly. Everybody had high expectations from Tandav as well, just recently released, but it didn't do as well. It also had like star power. Obviously, Saif Ali Khan was coming after Sacred Games, that was a big success, but it's eventually the content. If the content is great and you don't have a big star power to support it, it'll still do well. But if the content is bad and you have like Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan and all the Khans combined to come in to promote it, it's still not going to do well. That's just the way content is going to move forward now.
Yeah, so like the major reason, as you said, that the Salman Khan films and these Shah Rukh Khan films are gonna flop is the reason. The reason also, I think, as I said, the internet. The reason of that internet is gonna reach every home, because पहले क्या होता था कि like पूरे गांव में एक टीवी है, उसमें एक
Yeah.
समय एक टाइम पे पिक्चर आती है, वो शाहरुख खान सलमान खान ही आती है, तो शाहरुख खान सलमान खान ही देखना पड़ेगा, वही देख के बड़े
Yeah.
होंगे,
हाँ, हाँ,
वही
हाँ,
रीजन है। बट अब सबके हाथ में इंटरनेट है, सबके हाथ में एक
yeah.
फोन है, तो वो
And सबके हाथ में right है. Everybody has a choice. Like right
एग्जैक्टली
now,
बहुत
it's still like a very relevant choice. Like for example, as someone who's living in the metro, both you and I have a choice. हम जाते हैं, we go to a PVR, we spend like 350 रुपए से कम का कोई टिकट नहीं होता आजकल किसी मूवी का। तो
काइंड
350 रुपए का प्राइम टाइम पे हम जाकर के एक मूवी का टिकट खरीदते हैं। आने का कॉस्ट, जाने का कॉस्ट, हॉल से निकल करके वहां पे आप रहोगे 3 घंटे, ऑब्वियसली पॉपकॉर्न खाओगे, पॉपकॉर्न नहीं खाओगे, कोल्ड ड्रिंक पियोगे, यू विल हैव व्हाटएवर। सो एक मूवी देखने का बजट इज पर पर्सन लाइक $1,000 which is a given। तो आपका लग ही
उतना
जाएगा।
होता ही है, हाँ
And that is like an average cost. If you're going with your family, obviously the cost is going to be more because you have that many
एग्जैक्टली।
people. So अभी हमारे पास दूसरे कॉन्सेप्ट है, which is मैं 200 रुपए का नेटफ्लिक्स ले सकता हूँ, 300 रुपए का प्राइम ले सकता हूँ, 150 रुपए का हॉटस्टार ले सकता हूँ, और ये सारे शोज, सारी मूवीज अपने कन्वीनियंस पे घर बैठ के देख सकता हूँ।
एग्जैक्टली, एग्जैक्टली।
So
बिकॉज हाँ, सो बिकॉज वही ना, क्योंकि इंडिया में मोस्टली इन इंडिया द थिंग विद मूवी हॉल्स इज दैट these brands PVR and stuff, what they offer is they don't offer a movie, they offer experience.
experience, yeah,
And it's more of a social outing than going to a movie. A lot of the times you with your family you're not interested कि यार ये मूवी देखेंगे, ये मूवी देखने में बहुत मजा आएगा. A lot of the times it's just you go out to spend some family quality family time. वो तो मुझे समझ नहीं आता हाउ वुड फैमिली टाइम भी क्वालिटी, अगर आप 2.5 घंटे बैठ के पिक्चर देख रहे हो, बट स्टिल।
yeah,
एंड यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम ये कि सिंगल स्क्रीन थिएटर्स होते हैं अच्छे नहीं है। सो
हम्म,
जो 50-100 रुपए वाला है वो अच्छा है नहीं, तो बचा ऑप्शन
हम्म,
350 वाला ही। एंड
हाँ,
उसमें भी अगर आपको बेकार चीज मिल रही है तो क्यों बैठेगा इंसान भाई, बहुत ही कम बैठेगा। एज यू सेड,
yeah,
वो सिर्फ सोशल आउटिंग के लिए बन जाएगा वो।
yeah,
And yeah, and I was saying that again, with these, like अगर इतने सारे मेरे हाथ में चीजें हैं, this also means that there is decentralization of uh, information. मतलब इतने सारे तरीकों से मैं मीडिया निकाल सकता हूँ यहाँ से। मतलब पहले का, आज से 20 साल पहले क्या सिर्फ एक बॉलीवुड है, कुछ प्रोडक्शन हाउसेज है, वही बनाएंगे तुम्हारे लिए मूवी, वही बनाएंगे तुम्हारे लिए सीरियल, वही देखो और कुछ है नहीं तुम्हारे पास, हमारे हाथ में पावर है, हम जो दिखाएंगे वो देखना पड़ेगा। लेकिन जैसे ही इंटरनेट आया, जैसे ही यूट्यूब, टिकटॉक, इंस्टाग्राम, ये सब आए, जैसे ही लोगों के हाथ में ताकत आई, ऑल ऑफ इट गॉट डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड। अब मैं आप सब बना सकते हैं बैठ के अपने घर पे कंटेंट, और उसी उसी से ये मोनोपोली धीरे धीरे खत्म हो जाएगी। अभी एज ऑफ नाउ आई डोंट थिंक कि मतलब अगले 10-15 years में इट्स गोना शेक अ लॉट, बिकॉज एज ऑफ नाउ लोगों के हाथ में इतना पैसा है नहीं। वो धीरे धीरे आएगा, मतलब मे बी द क्रीम लेयर दे हैव दैट मनी, तो वो प्रेफरेंसेस पे चेंज होगा। एंड जैसे 10-15 साल में जब पैसा आएगा देश में, जैसे जैसे वही जो बड़ी पॉपुलेशन जिसके पास नहीं रहा इंटरनेट, उसके पास आएगा, दे गोना हैव द फ्रीडम ऑफ चॉइस, एंड धीरे धीरे वो फिर चीजें मूव कर जाएंगी। एंड देन बॉलीवुड, like OTT will be as big as in terms of money as Bollywood, and Bollywood का hype अपने आप कम हो जाएगा, स्टार किड्स का हाइप अपने आप कम हो जाएगा। दैट्स व्हाई यू सी अ लॉट ऑफ दीज स्टार किड्स आई गेस गेटिंग इनटू बिजनेस, क्योंकि उनके पहले जनरेशन, आई यू डोंट नो ऑफ अमिताभ बच्चन स्टार्टिंग अ बिजनेस, बट आज जो भी एक्टर्स हैं बड़े बड़े, दे ऑल आर गेटिंग इनटू स्टार्टअप्स, दे ऑल गेटिंग इनटू बिजनेस, बिकॉज आई गेस ऑन सम पार्ट, ऑन सम लेवल, दे नो कि इतनी मोनोपोली शायद नहीं चलने वाली। दे हैव टू बिल्ड अ सस्टेनेबल ब्रांड ऑफ देमसेल्फ, दे हैव टू बिल्ड अ सस्टेनेबल बिजनेस ऑफ देमसेल्फ, जिससे वो एक ऐसा प्रोडक्ट बेचें जो उनके स्टार पावर पे बिके शायद। क्योंकि हो सकता है कि मोनोपोली धीरे धीरे कम हो रही हो, लाइक देयर कुड बी मेनी अदर रीजंस बट दिस कुड बी वन। व्हाट सो लाइक
agreed, 500% agreed. I think it's very relevant, but I also disagree to the fact that it's कि अगले 10-15 साल में बहुत कम changes होने वाले हैं. I think we're going to see a very big change in the next 5 years. I'll give you a very small example. TikTok we all watch because we feel कि it's cringe content. हमने before the TikTok got banned, everybody used to be like कि क्या कैसे लोग content बना रहे हैं, this is हम बस जाते हैं हंसने के लिए TikTok पे. But I'll give you a very honest example. So there is a Facebook page right now called Emo Boys of Chapriwood. It's actually a dedicated page group on Facebook that basically reposts all the trashy content that we've seen on TikTok.
Hmm.
So I'm a fan of that page. I want to visit that page whenever I'm feeling down. कि मेरे को हंसने का मन कर रहा है, I'll
Hmm.
go. I went and I saw this series because TikTok obviously allows you to create like a 30-second content or a 59-second content, not more than that, right?
Hmm.
So I saw like a series there which was very poorly acted, very poorly directed. Production quality was zero. Probably ये किसी घर में shoot हुआ था, but it was like a horror story. कोई sound
Hmm.
effect नहीं था, कुछ नहीं था. But I watched all 7 parts of that. Not because I was not laughing or I wasn't enjoying. I was really hooked onto the story. That हाँ, it's poorly acted, horrible production quality. कुछ भी नहीं है उसमें. शायद एक दिन में ही उन्होंने बना लिए होंगे 7 parts. But I
Hmm.
watched it all. मेरे को था कि ये story जा किधर रही है,
Oh,
right? I
राइटिंग अच्छी
don't.
थी मतलब.
It was good. I don't even think कि वो writing हो गया. I think वो 4 दोस्त मिलकर के they were like कि चलो कुछ करते हैं मेरे
बकचोदी
को.
थी मतलब.
So they created something like that, but I watched it and I saw that I wasn't alone. I saw there were like multiple comments of people. They said we came here to laugh, but we actually got hooked to the story, and that actually made me realize I would not possibly have spent so much times on, let's say, a big film. I wouldn't have. There are like so many Tiger Shroff films that come and go. Haven't seen. मैंने ट्रेलर भी
Hmm.
नहीं देखने की कोशिश करी. But I was hooked on to this kind of content.
Hmm.
And as a content creator myself, I realize now that we're all moving towards convenient content. मूवी हॉल जाने का एक एक्सपीरियंस का एक वो भी सिचुएशन होता था ट्विस्ट की आपको एक बार में बैठ करके ही दिखना है.
Hmm.
आपका एक फोन कॉल आया और बीच में आप हॉल से बाहर निकले एक फोन कॉल उठाने के लिए वापस आए आपकी स्टोरी छूट गई आपको फिल्म समझ में नहीं आएगी.
हाँ.
नाउ व्हाट दीज platforms are actually allowing you is your own convenience. आधा घंटा अभी देखो 2 घंटे बाद में देखो. Watch it wherever you can.
Hmm.
So that's obviously going to be there. And इतने सारे conveniences के साथ जो the point that you were trying to say, it's already happening. That change has already come. Right now,
Hmm.
people are viewing content only because they feel connected to that kind of content and वो
Hmm.
उनको short mobile formats में वो उनको convenience provide कर रहे to watch that content any point of time.
Hmm.
These smaller content creators are a brand in their own selves right now. Everybody will watch a Kusha Kapila ka sketch. Nobody will watch a Tiger Shroff ki Instagram story all the time. They will
Hmm.
not relate to them right now. So a Kusha Kapila right now is definitely a bigger brand than a Tiger Shroff. वो obviously उनका format अलग है. That Tiger Shroff will still continue to do movies, then Kusha Kapila will do like her own small review series. But I think brand wise, it's all already the same. So tomorrow you can very well see that these content creators can be on the big screen as well. And वो
Hmm.
already दूसरा उसका section is already happening. Now the big stars are already coming onto this one.
हाँ.
So that fusion has already started to happen. I think uh, production houses also look at Dharmatic Entertainment. Dharma has opened like a separate vertical that will only create content for Netflix.
Oh.
The show they did, Fabulous Lives of Bollywood Housewives, everybody called it like it's the most unintentionally funny show, but everybody's watched it. They've made money off it. So
Hmm.
it became a big success. Now they're planning a season 2 of it.
Oh.
So that shift has already started to happen. I think
Hmm.
what we're going to see right now is also the fact that budgets are going to decrease.
Oh.
All of these people who've been charging crores and saying that I'm a big star and big actor and all of that, you'll see all of them on Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hotstar very very soon. Films, I think 5 years down the line, I think nobody's really going to be interested that much. I think
Hmm.
वो कुछ सुंदर स्टार्स ही होंगे जिनके नाम पे लोग पिक्चर देखने के लिए चले जाते हैं जैसे सलमान खान की still a huge fan base जो सिर्फ सलमान खान की मूवी देखने के लिए जाता है उसमें सलमान खान जोकर बनाए हीरो बनाए एक्टर बनाए साइड हीरो बनाए उनको उनसे फर्क नहीं पड़ता सो वो स्टार्स की मूवी आप देखोगे बड़े स्क्रीन पे बट नहीं आई थिंक everything else is going to move to our mobile phones right now.
Yeah, the reason I said 10 15, the reason for me saying 10 15 was the financial part of it, because क्योंकि अभी, there's more to the eye that there's more to the eye that there's more than meets the eye. Sorry for the fumble. But Bollywood is still a very large fraction as said to OTT or YouTube. Obviously the customer base is going to shift, as you said, it's going to shift in the next 5 years maybe, but the amount of money and power, that will take a bit more time, I guess, because uh, वही ना कि जैसे जब जब लोगों के हाथ में पैसा आएगा, then only they will
I think
spend.
resistance so definitely hoga because they've created these huge empires. Like
Hmm.
look at Yash Raj, they've created such a huge empire, and कुछ चीजों का genuinely experience movie halls पे ही आएगा. Like for
हाँ.
example, if you watch something like a Sanjay Leela Bhansali film, if you watch a
Hmm.
Padmavat, you will
Exactly.
not get the exact what the story and how larger than life it is on your
Hmm.
mobile screen. उसके लिए you'll have to go to that
उसके लिए
hall.
हाँ.
But then that is going to be the one-off experience or two-off
Hmm.
experience. Beach mein, I remember when we were like kids in our, late teenage, there were these concept of a 5D movie
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
a 7D movie experience कि छोटा सा
Hmm.
एक रोलर कोस्टर राइड कराते थे जिसमें हवा भी आ रही है पानी भी पड़ रहा है आपके मुंह
हाँ.
पे. Maybe if they start moving towards that kind of filmmaking and storytelling, then that is
Hmm.
something that your mobile phone will not provide you. For
Yeah.
that, you'll have to go to that experience के लिए वो hall में जाना पड़ेगा.
हाँ.
But they
हाँ.
do keep innovating in that sense for the
Hmm.
audience and for them to actually stay relevant. Because online content भी आप देखो, earlier everybody used to put those long 5 seconds, 6 seconds IGTV videos.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then they reinvention के हिसाब से everybody came to these Instagram stories. Stories के बाद everybody came back to these 60 seconds का Instagram posts. Now वो
Hmm.
post भी खत्म हो गया. Now it's just a 30 second. 30 second is the time that you have to tell your stories. Otherwise traction नहीं आएगा. आप
हाँ.
कुछ भी देखेंगे कि आपको it's not on a reel.
Hmm.
So they also need to keep re-innovating and reinventing, and that is
Yeah.
how the creation journey is going to move forward.
Huh. Yeah, that what you said was really interesting. That the Sanjay Leela Bhansali film, it's an experience in itself, because really, the if you want an actual larger than life experience, if you want to, uh, like as you said, you're not going just for the story, because a Nawazuddin film or any, you can just watch it on your screen, because again, वहाँ पे the production doesn't really matter, as you said, about the horror series that you watch. वहाँ पे production उतना matter नहीं करता, वहाँ पे एक्टिंग और स्टोरी टेलिंग ज्यादा मैटर करती है. बट इन अ लाइक मूवी लाइक संजय लीला भंसाली की फिल्म हो गई, या सम लाइक मे बी इवन अ टैरेंटिनो फिल्म,
Yeah.
लाइक वो तो सॉरी वो हाँ, तो उसमें यू नीड टू हैव एन एक्सपीरियंस. तो वो एक अपकमिंग इंडस्ट्री हो सकती है जो 5D 7D इतना नीश अभी के लिए है, जो एक छोटे से रूम में वो दस
Avatar,
पंद्रह
I believe apparently it's been made into 5D or something.
आई या मे बी, हाँ.
Yeah.
हाँ शायद. तो
The
हाँ,
James
सो लाइक
Cameron.
दिस 5D and 7D का कॉन्सेप्ट दैट दिस वाज वेरी नीश, लाइक जो 10-15 लोगों का ही थिएटर हॉल होता था, एंड उसमें वो
Yeah,
5 मिनट की
imagine.
पिक्चर चलाते
And
थे.
it used to be so
दैट्स गोना
expensive. I
इंक्रीज.
remember 200-250 रुपए के कुछ टिकट होता था. And उस टाइम पर मूवी टिकट्स होते थे कुछ 100-150 रुपए के.
हाँ. हाँ, सो वही दैट्स गोना इंक्रीज, मतलब वो एक नई इंडस्ट्री है जो कि मे बी अ बॉलीवुड कैन आई टुवर्ड्स, मे बी अ संजय लीला भंसाली कैन आई टुवर्ड्स. यू कैन से लाइक ओके, लोग मतलब मैं पिक्चर बनाने में इतने पैसे लगा रहा हूँ, एंड लोग वो चीज़ 200 रुपये में नेटफ्लिक्स पे देख सकते हैं. तो इससे अच्छा मैं और उस पर क्रिएटिविटी का लेयर और चढ़ा दूँ अपनी तरफ से, एंड फिर
Hmm.
उसको बेचूं एक नए पर्सपेक्टिव के साथ, उनको दिखाऊं कि you're not getting a story, you're getting an experience, a proper rather than life. तुम जी रहे हो, actually जी रहे हो, not in
Hmm.
just your head.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really interesting, and that's what That's what I guess it's going to separate again the bigger production houses maybe from these individual creators. हो सकता है, that's what, क्योंकि अब भंसाली will be a भंसाली, कुशा कपिला will be a कुशा कपिला, मतलब कुशा कपिला, क्योंकि होगा ही ना, जब अगर किसी दिन कुशा कपिला ने कह दिया कि मेरी मूवी आई है, मैंने बनाई है, 500 रुपए टिकट है, जाओ खरीद के देख के आओ, उसकी
हाँ,
ऑडियंस ही कहेगी, दिस इज नॉट व्हाट आई केम फॉर.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
मैं रिलेटेबल कंटेंट देखने आया हूँ, आई वांट टू, बिकॉज यू आर द पर्सन इज इंटरेस्टिंग, जो तुम वहाँ पर्सनैलिटी इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. कंटेंट एंड पर्सनैलिटी इज लाइक 50-50. कभी कभी पर्सनैलिटी कैन ओवर विद द कंटेंट. सो दैट्स, अगर अगर ऐसा ना हो रहा, क्योंकि विथ यूट्यूबर्स या क्रिएटर्स इट्स लाइक 60-70% पर्सनैलिटी एंड 30-35% कंटेंट, एंड तभी
Agreed.
लोग देखने आते हैं. इफ यू
Mhm.
गोना स्विच दैट, तब पता है क्या बन जाएंगे वो? टीचर,
Mhm. Mhm.
प्रोफेसर. क्योंकि उनका ये होता है, उनके 70-75% कंटेंट होता है एंड 25-30% पर्सनैलिटी होती है, और तब भी नहीं रोक पाते वो. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's what holds your attention span. Even
yeah.
Joe Rogan, for that matter, he's the most heard man in the history of mankind. उसका सबसे ज्यादा आवाज उसकी सुनी हुई है. And it's more about what Joe Rogan is rather than what he talks about. मतलब वो जब
Exactly.
जब न्यूज में आता है तो अलग बात है, बट स्टिल वो लोग जो रोगन ज्यादा जानते हैं. लोग कॉन्सेप्ट थोड़ा कम जानते हैं. तो
Yeah,
अगेन वो वापस पर्सनल ब्रांड पे आ गया, वो सारा पर्सनालिटी बेस पे आ गया. तो yeah, that to me is very interesting. And so the other thing that I'm going to ask you is, so you hung out around this content space, like in the YouTube OTT side, and you also hung out in Bollywood circles.
yeah.
So what difference do you see, first of all, in the personality of these people, वो जो content में काम कर रहे हैं और वो जो Bollywood में काम कर रहे हैं? Because there must be some differences, thought processes में. Maybe these Bollywood stars, they look down upon these content के people, and the work environment. क्योंकि अभी जो 2-3 महीने, this सुशांत सिंह वाला and everything that happened, it
Mhm.
basically implied कि Bollywood is very toxic and stuff. तो वर्क एनवायरनमेंट वहाँ कैसा है, और वर्क एनवायरनमेंट कंटेंट इंडस्ट्री में कैसा है? क्योंकि कंटेंट इंडस्ट्री इज मोस्टली वही, अगेन, जो दिखाते हो कि हम तो भाई हैं, हम सब भाई हैं, हम साथ में काम कर रहे हैं. तो उस टाइप का इट्स वेरी इनफॉर्मल शोड. तो वहाँ पे डिफरेंस क्या आ जाता है?
To be really honest, there is not much of a difference, really. Again, there are multiple layers to this. So, first of all, the bhaichara that you see of these content creators here and there, um, a lot of it is real, but more
Mhm.
than that, a lot of it is over exaggerated and fake as well. The friendships that you see on Instagram are not really there in reality, because let's face it, you're all at the end of the day competing with against each other for the numbers, right? Same audience attention ke liye you're competing against each other, same brand money, same brand campaigns ke liye you're competing with each other. So it's not really real. Also, ये जो सांठगांठ है, it is also slightly stems from the idea that there is a lot of insecurity. They don't want to let a lot of new content creators come in and take their place, which is why
Oh.
they'll continue to create अपने friends और भाईचारे वाले का content, क्योंकि it's like a mutual admiration society.
Hmm.
हम आपका content promote करते हैं, आप हमारा content promote करो, हम सब साथ में बड़े होंगे. So
Hmm.
that is where it's going right now in the content creation space, individual this YouTube space right now. Um, Definitely, there is a big sense of prejudice that comes when um, Bollywood versus like internet star comes into place. There is definitely going to be that prejudice, because obviously yaar, film stars ka apna alag hi, they are in that attitude. Like personally, I've been to a couple of these auditions as well, where everybody has been very good when they've seen the auditions and all of that. The minute they come to know that, okay, you work in the YouTube space, okay, oh, then it doesn't matter. You're never going to be as big. And ye एक दो पर्सन ये नहीं, this has been said by like the biggest casting directors and everybody else. In fact, I remember there were two auditions where I was supposed to meet somebody and they told me, don't tell that you worked on YouTube.
Oh.
They'll tell you that don't say that you've done these 1 minute videos or these short videos on YouTube. Don't tell that, because the minute you say that, you are automatically looked down upon. That is going to be the reality. And Bollywood is one place that will not judge you on the basis of your Instagram numbers, because the minute you say that you're an Instagram influencer, they're like, okay, you're not in our league, you don't know where you stand,
Hmm.
you're just popular because randomly तुम popular हो गए हो एक sketch से. And
हाँ.
Bollywood is a different kind of ballgame altogether. It requires so much more discipline, जो अभी let's be honest वो content creators के पास अभी नहीं है, जो individually है. At least majority के पास तो नहीं है because वो अभी अपने high पे घूम रहे हैं. Right
Hmm.
now on the world of internet, you're just this one video away from being viral.
Hmm.
Automatically आप explode हो जाओगे. And let's just look at from the fact that हर कंटेंट क्रिएटर जिसको आप देखते हो आप उसका एक या दो वीडियो के लिए याद करते हो, जिसके बाद से वो पॉपुलर हो गए तो अब वो कुछ भी बना रहे हैं और वो कुछ भी पे उनके व्यूज और लाइक्स और कमेंट्स आ रहे हैं, whereas
हाँ.
these people who are just coming up right now they might be creating a lot of more relevant content, but ये पॉपुलर कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स ने अपनी इतनी यू नो
हेजीमनी बना.
ये इमेज बनाई हुई है that nobody is going to view that small content creator का content right now because
Hmm.
everybody wants to do this big content creators right now.
Hmm.
So, in terms of the working style, Bollywood is very different. It requires a different kind of discipline altogether. Uh, Content creation space is just very on the go, and it has to be that because content creation is more profitable. Like, for example, this WhatsApp ban that happened.
Hmm.
Uh, WhatsApp ban के ऊपर you can't create a content 2 साल पहले से कि 2 साल बाद ये कंटेंट बैन हुआ था एंड देन उसके ऊपर हम ये पिक्चर बना रहे हैं, इट विल नॉट बी रेलिवेंट. बट अ कंटेंट क्रिएटर उसको पता चलता है ओ कंटेंट बैन हुआ है, ओके लेट मी क्रिएट समथिंग इन द नेक्स्ट 1 आवर एंड जस्ट
Upload it.
push it. And वो ज्यादा ट्रैक्शन आता है rather than a thought of content. As a
Hmm.
content creator, I understand कि if I'm doing a topical content, like we did this video about the Priyanka Chopra Grammy looks. Um,
Hmm.
it got far more traction than a sketch that I had taken like 2 months to write.
Hmm.
The consumption pattern right now, जो अभी hit है वही चलेगा. So there is obviously like a big difference between Bollywood and content creation space right now. एक जो commonality of factor is the one thing exactly that insecure. Both are insecure of each other.
बहुत. अच्छा.
And Hollywood is obviously very insecure of these content creators. Surely is because इनके पास भी audience है. And these content creators are insecure of the upcoming content creators. कि how do I
कोई.
stay relevant now? Now I have
हाँ.
these many followers. अगर मेरे पास इतने 200K followers हैं मेरे Instagram पे, then what do I do right now to keep them engaged? Because उनको भी
Hmm.
it's like a nerve-wracking situation जब आपको पता चलता है कि आपके एक पोस्ट पे 5,000 लाइक्स है और एक पे 50 लाइक है. So you're like कि
Hmm.
मैं क्या करूं इस 50 लाइक को? Do I pull it down? Do I push it again on my Instagram stories? मैं क्या करूं उसमें? So it's insecurity is like the common thread in
हाँ.
both these worlds.
हाँ. That's like that's the power of decentralization ना. मतलब the thing with Instagram, the thing with the thing like Instagram is मुझे एक unfollow और एक follow करने में बिल्कुल टाइम नहीं लगता. मैं
Yeah.
2 लोगों को एक साथ फॉलो कर सकता हूँ और मुझे दिखेगा कि ओके ये बंदा मुझे सेम चीज़ पे बेहतर एडवाइस दे रहा है, मैं दूसरे वाले को हटा दूँगा चाहे उसकी जितनी भी अच्छा जितना भी बड़ा हो वो, क्योंकि मेरे साथ ऐसा पर्सनली हो चुका है। मैंने एक बड़े क्रिएटर्स को कहा, मैंने एक बड़े क्रिएटर को देखना बंद करके मैं छोटे पे ज़्यादा मूव कर गया। दैट इज़ गोना हैपन वही एंड दैट डाइज बैक टू द गुड कंटेंट। मतलब अगर कंटेंट अच्छा है और वही जैसे आपने कहा कि यू गेट वायरल, फिर कुछ भी बनाओ लोग देखने आएंगे, तो कायदे से यू डोंट हैव टू स्टॉप आफ्टर दैट वन वायरल वीडियो। Good
Consistency.
a good example from what I can think is the example of that guy Yashraj Mukherjee. he got he got his fame from that 1 minute video, which was a catchy video song, and after that he kept making quality content, and that's why he has a niche audience of himself। वो audience उससे लेना तो उतना थोड़ा मुश्किल है। Also with, as you said, कि Bollywood and content creation में थोड़ा working का style का difference है, that's basically from what I think is because the institutionalization of the content। Bollywood का content is very institutionalized। It's like a lot of stages के through जाना पड़ता है। पहले एक राइटर होगा जो लिखेगा, एक डायरेक्टर होगा जो आएगा, फिर स्टार के पास उसको लेके जाएगा, वो चेंज होगा, एडिट होगी स्क्रिप्ट, मतलब इतने सारे काम होते हैं, you'd know better। बट विद अ इन्फ्लुएंसर, विद अ कंटेंट क्रिएटर, जैसे नथिंग, फोन उठाया, एक वीडियो बनाया, अपलोड कर दिया। तो उसमें उसमें भी पता है from what I'm seeing कि change आ रहा है. वो आज like अभी recently there's this concept of industrial YouTubing. अब मतलब बहुत सारे कि you have to break through the clutter. इतने सारे content creators हैं. If you want to keep yourself relevant, you have to थोड़ी सी तो team बनानी पड़ेगी, थोड़ा सा तो discipline लाना पड़ेगा.
There
वही.
are a lot of these companies right now, like One Digital Entertainment. So
Hmm.
Prajakta Kohli is a big YouTube sensation,
Hmm.
but One Digital Entertainment right now backs her out completely. So One
Hmm.
Digital Entertainment has their own production competencies and setup, and Prajakta Kohli is one of their main talents.
हाँ.
They basically help her in every way possible. There is a dedicated writer who writes her scripts. There is a camera person. There is a production person. There is like an entire movie production setup happening for her. Any content that she pushes out on Instagram or
Hmm.
YouTube right now. So that is definitely already happening, and that's how it's going to be. वो as you rightly mentioned, segregation के लिए वो करना बहुत जरूरी है और वो हो रहा है अभी already.
वो
That is
हाँ,
happening.
वो धीरे धीरे बढ़ जाएगा. एंड दैट begs द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू मी कि द थिंग विथ लोग बॉलीवुड से ओटीटी जैसी चीजों पे, ओटीटी या यूट्यूब जैसी चीजों पे शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ गुड कंटेंट. बट इफ यू सी द टॉप के यूट्यूबर्स, दे आर नॉट नेसेसरली प्रोड्यूसिंग द बेस्ट कंटेंट.
Yeah.
मतलब आज एक आशीष चंचलानी या एक अमित भड़ाना या एक प्रजक्ता कोहली, दे आर नॉट मेकिंग द काइंड ऑफ कंटेंट. मतलब द उनकी कंटेंट में वो इंटेलिजेंस नहीं है जो पहले थी. मतलब मैंने जब पहली बार आशीष चंचलानी को देखा, मैंने जब पहली बार, मतलब अमित को तो कभी देखा नहीं, बट स्टिल मैंने जब पहली बार भुवन बाम को देखा, जो कंटेंट मुझे उस समय मिला था वो कंटेंट अब नहीं है. अब
Mhm.
वो कंटेंट कोई और उससे उनसे छोटे लोग बना रहे हैं. And it's the same that happened with Bollywood. It got too big and content dumped down, audience चली गई. तो इनके
Mhm.
साथ भी what do you think कि यही होने वाला है इन बड़े production houses के साथ? As the thing with like the production houses, जो Pop X हो गए, Men's XP हो गया, BuzzFeed हो गया, all of them create relatable content, but वो इतना saturate हो चुका है, that sketch comedy area, that relatable content area, वो इतना saturate हो गया है कि in the next 10 to 15 years I see again this will again happen. ये इतने बड़े हो जाएंगे एंड उनसे छोटे लोग आएंगे एंड they'll go like नहीं ये गलत है, अब इनकी मोनोपोली छीन लो.
That's something that has already happened. Like a lot of these channels, like iDiva, पहले जितना popular था आज उतना popular नहीं है. The
Hmm.
same is with the other media platforms as well. And that is something that will continue to happen. This is the process of life. That today, even if you're in a normal job, you will see that there is someone who's the best performer right now. Will that person still be the best performers 2 years down the line? You don't know.
Hmm.
And that's just how the journey of life progresses. Even in Bollywood, you'll see today Deepika Padukone is the number one actor. Tomorrow, somebody else will come and take over her position. Yeah, it's that's just how life works. So with these content creators also, as I said, new content creators will keep on coming. Right now, everybody is on Instagram.
Hmm.
Instagram pe right now these people are leading. Tomorrow, if we move towards a different format of content, कल को ये कुछ इनका TikTok type का चिंगारी or something else again, gains all the prominence. We'll see more content creators there. So this will continue to happen. ये power किसी एक के हाथ में तो definitely नहीं रहने वाली, because as I said, I keep going back to it that everybody is a content creator. तुम किसी को
Hmm.
रोक नहीं सकते. There is the best part about it is that right now the content that you see on Instagram, there is very little censorship to it. ठीक है? There is
Exactly.
censorship, but it's very little. जब तक for example I have created a controversial video, मैं उसको इंटरनेट पे मैं डाल चुका हूँ. By the time censorship उस पे एक्ट करेगा, तब तक उसकी 1000 कॉपीज बन के ऑलरेडी यूट्यूब पे और इंस्टाग्राम पे चल चुकी है. वो 5000
Hmm.
5 लाख पास ऑलरेडी शेयर हो चुका है. It's met its target audience. Like,
Hmm.
look at what happened with the AIB roast. It was already very popular. It trended on YouTube for like at number for like weeks before the government actually said that no, take it down. But आज भी तुम देखो तो Facebook पे, YouTube पे, there are million other pages जहाँ पे वो content is still available. लोग आज भी
Hmm.
देख करके उसको.
हाँ भाई
That's what.
that हाँ वही the thing is and even the thing with uploading these content is that मतलब बॉलीवुड कैनॉट present this kind of content, क्योंकि पहले तो there has to go through all the CBFC का certification and all of it.
Yeah, yeah.
The second the
Uh-huh.
th- second thing is that they have a lot of money behind it. मतलब
Mhm.
एक बॉलीवुड की फिल्म में आपको रिस्क लेने के लिए आपको इतना होना चाहिए कि मतलब मैं अगर 10 करोड़ लगा रहा हूँ एक पिक्चर पे, उसमें मैंने ये एक कंट्रोवर्शियल लाइन लगा दी, तो ये कंट्रोवर्शियल लाइन मेरी पूरी मूवी डुबा सकती है,
हाँ,
और
हाँ,
मैं इतना
हाँ.
पैसा डुबाने के लिए तैयार नहीं हूँ। बट एक इंडिविजुअल कंटेंट क्रिएटर के साथ क्या है, वो तो मैं तो कैमरा लगा ही रहता है, मैं तो माइक लगा ही रहता है, मैं कुछ भी बोल दूं,
But
यू
there
नो।
are legit content creators who want to only work for controversies. Like, look at what happened with a lot of these. Like, I let's not take names, but I know for a fact that ये जो influencers हैं जो कि content create करते हैं, like look at Carrie Minati का content. Obviously, he's great, you know, millions of followers and whatever, whatever, whatever. But यार गाली गलौज करना it's not really content, right? ऐसे तो दिल्ली का every second person, any second person on the road is a content creator in that sense. Look at Hindustani Bhau, what he does. बहुत सारे followers and much respect to his followers because obviously it takes some kind of guts to project that kind of yourself in front of the camera, in front of the audiences. But is that really content? Is that the content that you can be proud of? I don't think
हाँ,
so. But look at them. At the end of the day, Carrie Minati is now going into Bollywood. He's about
बॉलीवुड।
to make with like a big Bollywood production. Hindustani Bhau went to Big Boss and achieved something and then again came back. So at the end of the day, ये जो controversy है, ये a lot of people genuinely create these controversies because it's going to propel their career into bigger and better things. So it's just a hand in hand situation. There are a lot of content creators who will, and this is again, a lot of people have actually told me this that I'm going to this big show. Can I create a controversy there? Ki, and self controversy create karna hi, it's not the only thing. You need to be able to leverage that kind of controversy as well. कई बार ऐसा होता है कंट्रोवर्सी करो आपको थप्पड़ पड़ जाते हैं उसके
हाँ,
बाद आप घर आके रोते हो लेकिन
वही।
यू नीड टू बी एबल टू लेवरेज ऑन दैट कंट्रोवर्सी जो आपने क्रिएट करी है टू बेसिकली प्रोपेल योर करियर लाइक एग्जांपल व्हाट हैपेंड विद रिया चक्रवर्ती राइट so many days in jail, so much talked about, so much slut shaming happened with her. Again, she's going back to Bollywood, and now she's going to be more successful than what she ever was, probably in the 5 6 years of her being in the industry. Now people are genuinely supporting her. People are like out. They're like, we're gonna watch a Riya Chakrabarti movie, and उसकी movie में I think Imran Hashmi भी है, Amitabh Bachchan भी है, but nobody's talking about those. They're like, Riya Chakrabarti is making a comeback to this movie. And
हाँ,
the director is also talking about Kirya Chakravarti ki movie aa rahi hai, everybody needs to watch it. That's how it's there right now.
हाँ, हाँ, मतलब ये तो लाइक दिस कंट्रोवर्सी वाली चीज तो आई टोटली अग्री ऑन कि थोड़ा मतलब अगर कोई देख रहा है तुम्हें तो कुछ दिखाने के लिए उसको आगे भी देना पड़ेगा तुम्हें।
Yeah,
तुमने एक कंट्रोवर्सी करी, एक वीडियो से तुम्हारे पास लोग तो आ गए, लोगों की आंखें तो आ गई, लेकिन वो आंखें रोक के कैसे रखोगे? इवन
exactly.
इवन हाँ, सो लाइक एज यू सेड अगेन, कंटेंट के साथ भी एज यू सेड कैरी मिनाटी, तो मैं तो कैरी मिनाटी अब तो एकदम बहुत ही कम देखता हूँ। But from what I think now again, the problem that these creators face, and मतलब I'm not talking about हिंदुस्तानी भाव, तो वो तो मीम था, उसको पता नहीं लोगों ने सीरियसली ले लिया। उस पे भी I want to come to that because that he represents a part of the audience that's going to grow in the next 10 years. वो
Hmm.
said कि this, but thing with Carrie Minati is from what I feel is कि क्योंकि उसके जो genuine 4-5 साल पुराने वीडियोस हैं दैट आर फनी, उनमें भी उतनी गालियां हैं, बट दोज आर एक्चुअली फनी। अभी क्या हो रहा है ना कि जैसे उसको 25 मिलियन की ऑडियंस देख रही है, वो
Hmm.
अगेन उसके साथ क्या है, अगेन दैट इज दिस इज द फ्लिप साइड ऑफ कंट्रोवर्सी कि 25 मिलियन फॉलोअर्स के साथ उसने कुछ ऐसा कुछ एजी टाइप का जोक मार दिया, कुछ कंट्रोवर्शियल चीज बोल दी, तो तुरंत
Hmm.
उसकी पीआर खराब होने की चांसेस है। तो वो क्या करता है, वो अपने खराब मतलब जो थोड़े अच्छे जोक्स होते हैं वो हटा देगा, नॉर्मल से जोक्स डालेगा और गालियां बचेंगी, तो लोग तो यहीं गाली देता है। तो दैट इज अ प्रॉब्लम विद अगेन नंबर्स, कि जैसे जैसे नंबर्स बढ़े जाएंगे तो वो एक साइकिल सा बन जाता है कि नंबर्स बढ़े हुए, मुझे कंटेंट डम डाउन करना पड़ गया, और फिर
Hmm.
लोग कहेंगे कंटेंट अच्छा नहीं है, मैं क्या करूं, मुझे इतनी ऑडियंस को केटर करना है। एंड टॉकिंग अबाउट हिंदुस्तानी, about that I'm not going to talk about him, but what he represents is a part of the regional audience that's going to grow on the internet in the next 10 years. लाइक अभी ये तो वो तो थोड़ा हिंदी भोजपुरी इन सब टाइप की उसमें बोलता है, सॉरी मराठी थोड़ा, तो वो थोड़ा पैन इंडिया टाइप सिचुएशन है, वो सब समझ लेंगे. बट प्रोमिनेंट मलयाली क्रिएटर, अ प्रोमिनेंट यू नो गुजराती क्रिएटर, वो दे आर ऑल्सो गोना ग्रो इन द नेक्स्ट 10 years, क्योंकि धीरे धीरे अगेन पहले मुंबई एक हब था कंटेंट क्रिएशन का, क्योंकि वहां बॉलीवुड था, वहां सब कुछ था. वहां पे ही आके तुम्हें करना है जो करना है. तो पहले तो सिर्फ मुंबई वाले जो हिंदी हिंदी वो हो गए, और बाहर से भी जिनको आना पड़ता उनको भी हिंदी सीखनी पड़ेगी. बट जैसे सबके हाथ में इंटरनेट आया, मैं अपने घर से अपनी लैंग्वेज में अपनी ऑडियंस को दे सकता हूँ. तो वो रीजनल ऑडियंस इतनी बढ़ने वाली, रीजनल कंटेंट इतना बढ़ने वाला है. तो बहुत सारे जो यूट्यूबर्स भी मैं देख रहा हूँ, अ लॉट ऑफ देम जो मतलब हेल्थ फिटनेस ये सब करते हैं, मतलब जिनका जिनका उनका कंटेंट ऐसा है जो कि सभी के लिए है, पैन पैन टाइप्स है, पैन इंडिया, पैन ऑल एज ग्रुप्स, वो रीजनल कंटेंट में घुस रहे हैं. तो एंड रीजनल कंटेंट, क्योंकि ऑल्सो यू नो एज सुन एज दिस बॉलीवुड मोनोपोली ब्रेक्स, बाकी भी जो मूवी इंडस्ट्रीज हैं वो ऊपर आने वाली हैं. साउथ इंडिया की मूवी इंडस्ट्री और बड़ी हो जाएगी. तो यू नो वहां पे भी एक और कंपटीशन है. तो यू नो हाउ डज बॉलीवुड रिएक्ट टू दिस, क्योंकि मतलब करण जौहर डिड अ स्मार्ट मूव बाय पुटिंग मनी इनटू बाहुबली, क्योंकि उससे उसको पैसा मिला. बट will it, do they continue to look down upon these industries, or do these YouTubers, do they look down upon these regional content creators? क्योंकि
I
फेस
don't
ऑफ
think so.
यूट्यूब इंडिया, क्योंकि फेस ऑफ यूट्यूब इंडिया या फेस ऑफ इंडियन फिल्म्स इज बॉलीवुड, फेस ऑफ यूट्यूब
Hmm.
इंडिया इज अ प्राजक्ता कोहली. तो हाउ डज इट वर्क मतलब वहां पे?
I think it's that is changing only because the audience consumption patterns are changing. Aj probably like a regional content creator is as famous as Prajakta Kohli. Numbers भले ही नहीं उतने मैच हो रहे हो, but that is again something that's going to happen over time. किसी भी चीज को बड़ा बनने के लिए थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा. Like there is a very popular content creator, Viraj Ghelani. Big fan I
हाँ.
am. Viraj Ghelani. He creates a lot of his content for Gujarati audiences also, and it's very popular. Those videos also get like a lot of traction. Even people who don't understand Gujarati, they also watch that content because it's still funny and still relevant. So it's always going to happen. जो look down वाला है, that situation is obviously there, but it's not going to be there forever because let's face it, इतनी डायनामिक इंडस्ट्री है, इट्स गोइंग थ्रू सो मच चेंज इतनी जल्दी जल्दी कि अगर ये लोग अडॉप्ट नहीं करेंगे अपने आप को, देन दे आर गोना कंप्लीटली गो. So अगर वो अभी लुक डाउन कर भी रहे हैं, it's only a matter of time because tomorrow these content creators are going to be bigger and better. South industry is independent right now. I think they're doing far better work than what Bollywood is doing right now. So which is why production houses are now moving towards South, and South actors are also coming into Bollywood. It's a good crossover that's happening right now, and it will continue to happen. I think, as I said, content right now is all about reinvention, learning from their own mistakes, creating something that's never been created before, telling stories about like the normal routine people in their lives. Like if you look at Ayushman Khurrana ka content, he's never played like a larger than life hero. He's always played like a Chandigarh ka ladka or like a UP ka ladka. And that is why the audience resonates with him because he plays characters we're all relating to. So अभी right now जितना भी वो देख लें कि that it's looked down upon original content creators, but it's only a matter of time. Because it's all going to become one big happy family that are going to be fighting against each other, but it's all going to be one family. सब एक pot में ही आने वाले हैं ultimately.
Yeah, that is a very good thought, बड़े से बड़ी सी फैमिली लड़ रहे हैं अपने में. उससे 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 एक हेल्दी कंपटीशन का भी एक मतलब एक थोड़ा ऑप्टिमिस्ट व्यू है कि एक हेल्दी कंपटीशन डेवलप हो सकता है आगे जाके, अगर मतलब अगर इफ दे जेन्युइनली वांट टू क्रिएट गुड कंटेंट, तो एक हेल्दी कंपटीशन एंड कोऑपरेशन एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट हो सकता है. क्योंकि मतलब इवन कोऑपरेशन फॉर दैट मैटर, क्योंकि मैंने देखा है, मैंने बहुत सारे यूट्यूबर्स इस लॉकडाउन में काफ़ी फ़ॉलो किए हैं. तो उन्होंने जितने कोलैब्स करके, जितनी लाइव स्ट्रीम्स एक साथ करके, जितने वो करके जितनी ग्रोथ उन्होंने ली है, उतना अगर एक बॉलीवुड और एक टॉलीवुड एक साथ आ जाए तो वो कितना ऑडियंस ओवरलैप क्रिएट करके अपने लिए कंटेंट वो कर सकते हैं. तो दैट्स आल्सो एन इंटरेस्टिंग थॉट. बट द नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट आई वांट टू कम टू इज हमने इतनी कंटेंट के बारे में बात कर ली, बट a big danger that is pondering over the content industry right now, especially the OTT and the YouTube sense, is the uh, movement of these OTT platforms, internet-based platform, to the information and broadcasting ministry, where the question of censorship comes. जैसे अभी तांडव के साथ scene हो गया कि they heard sentiments and all of it. So how does बॉलीवुड लुक एट इट, क्योंकि बॉलीवुड तो लास्ट 20 years से यही कर रहा है, मतलब उसको तो देखना ही पड़ रहा है. बट विथ कंटेंट हाउ डज, लाइक बॉलीवुड तो ओके लेट्स गो, बट जो कंटेंट इंडस्ट्री है, जो डिजिटल इंडस्ट्री है, हाउ डज दैट लुक एट इट? उनको डू दे लुक एट इट एज क्रिएटिव फ्रीडम बीइंग टेकन अवे, और डू दे थिंक कि इट्स नथिंग, कुछ होता नहीं है, और डू दे थिंक कि
Uh,
कंट्रोवर्सी है, क्योंकि कंट्रोवर्सी डिड गेट viewers to तांडव too. So
I don't think it's a deliberate controversy in this case, because at the end of the day, what's happening in our country right now is that a lot of threatening and moral policing is happening even without people having to ask for it. You know,
hmm,
like the controversy that even happened for Padmavat, that people came out and slapped the director, and then there were these protests that we're gonna burn Deepika Padukone alive because she's done this. Um, a lot of it is just bad. I think as content creator myself, I am increasingly fearful of the fact that there are certain kind of stories that are just not there for the big screen right now. Like, I know of a fact that right now what we're seeing, like what we saw in the first season of Sacred Games,
hmm.
there was a lot of frontal nudity, uh, and we looked at it not in the sense that oh kya nudity dekhne ko mili aaj hame. It was integral to the story, and it
हाँ.
was real, and it came as like कि कुछ real हमें दिखाया
It
जा रहा
did
है, which
not
is
have a
why
pornographic element to it.
it didn't have it, because वो करने में भी आपको समझ में आ जाता है. There are content being created that are only for pornographic element. Like look at Ekta Kapoor's गंदी बात. People will
All
only
वाला जी. हाँ.
want उसमें किसी को भी आप कोई भी story डाल लो उसमें, nobody is going to look at the story. They're only going to look
Hmm.
at the soft porn element of it.
Hmm.
So, as a content creator, if I'm talking about, let's say, if I want to tell a story where a sex scene is crucial, I know कि that is like a fear in my mind कि वो नहीं चल सकता if the censorship actually happens. More than that, there are a lot of stories that involve us being really really honest about ourselves. Like अगर मुझे, if I have an element tomorrow कि एक मेरी story है जिसमें एक हिंदू ने किसी मुस्लिम को मारा है या किसी मुस्लिम ने किसी हिंदू को मारा है, I should be able to tell that story without thinking कि हिंदूज कैसे रिएक्ट करेंगे या मुस्लिम्स
हाँ.
कैसे रिएक्ट करेंगे, या मुझे कौन से रिलीजन मेरे इस कंटेंट को बायकॉट कर देगा. I
Hmm.
should not have that kind of fear. I should not have that kind of fear as a content creator कि how will the information and broadcasting ministry react to the kind of content that I've
Hmm.
created. The reason all of us moved to OTT cinema in the first place, OTT content in the first place, is the fact that it allowed us that sense of freedom. Like, if you look at how international, TV shows are there, they don't care about it. They don't care what they're actually trying to show, because at the end of the day, it's everybody's individualistic right कि वो choose कर सकते हैं that I want to expose myself to this content or no.
Hmm.
So right now it's obviously very difficult. It's obviously very scaring, the thought कि इंडिया में अगर censorship लागू हो गई OTT पे तो क्या होगा उसका. But I think we, as content creators, again we've obviously found a way to move from cinema to OTT. So I think OTT से भी move करने का कोई ना कोई तरीका निकाल लेंगे.
हाँ. हाँ.
Tell our stories without hiding a lot.
हाँ. दैट एग्जैक्टली वो काफी मतलब अगेन भाई वो डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन से ही आएगा कि आप कितना कितना ही रोक लोगे ओटीटी को. ठीक है, ओटीटी में बॉलीवुड में एक लिमिटेड अमाउंट ऑफ पिक्चरें आती हैं, ओटीटी में तो रोज रिलीज हो रहा है कंटेंट, कैसे रोक लोगे भाई जाके? कितना रोक लोगे? मैं और आप यहाँ बैठ के पॉडकास्ट पे क्या बातें कर लेंगे, कितना रोक लोगे?
And actually, उससे और trigger होता है. Like for example, today we're talking about this. This podcast might trigger another conversation. जिसके ऊपर
एग्जैक्टली।
हमारा आपका कोई हक नहीं है उसको रोकने का. वी कांट रियली स्टॉप इट. वी डोंट हैव द कैपेसिटी टू स्टॉप इट because it's all content at the end of the day. You can't really censor content. You can censor it to some level, but eventually then people are going to get bored of it anyway. कि अगर if I have to re-look and re-share the same stories that we've already seen without any new lens, without any new emotions, without any new um, experience, then it really is not going to matter.
और इवन सेंसरशिप इट सॉल्व्स नथिंग, क्योंकि सेंसरशिप, क्योंकि इवन आर्ट का काम होता है, फ्रॉम व्हाट आई थिंक, कि सोसाइटी को एक मिरर दिखाना, सोसाइटी की बहुत सारी चीजों को एक फॉर्म में उसके सामने रखना, जिससे बहुत सारी चीजें नॉर्मलाइज हो जाएंगी. मतलब इवन अगर इवन इफ मूवीज लाइक शुभ शुभ मंगल ज्यादा सावधान, जिसमें जिसमें एक एलजीबीटी रिलेशनशिप है, अगर
Hmm.
वैसी मूवीज और आएंगी तो they're gonna impact audiences, they're gonna show more people, so they're gonna make people more aware, and then they're gonna normalize eventually. वो normalize कर देगा, क्या कहते हैं, सिचुएशन, ये LGBTQ रिलेशंस का, क्योंकि that's what happened ना. बॉलीवुड ने लास्ट 20 साल में जो प्यार का फॉर्मूला लोगों के गले में भरा है, वही प्यार का फॉर्मूला लोगों ने नॉर्मलाइज कर दिया ना.
Exactly.
वो
Exactly.
लड़का लड़की के
How
पीछे
now that
भागता है ना, वो
exactly
नॉर्मलाइज
that is
करा
now
गया.
that stalking and acid फेंकना और एक दूसरे को मारना पीटने वाला प्यार, ये that's how it's gotten normalized. Yeah.
एग्जैक्टली exactly. और अगर ऐसी स्टोरीज आपने और दिखाई तो अगले आगे जाके ये नॉर्मलाइज होगा. इसके साथ इवन इफ अगर सेक्स सीन्स की बात आई, तो इफ यू टेक समथिंग लाइक यूरोप, यूरोप में जो भी कंटेंट होता है, वहां पे न्यूडिटी होती है, एंड दैट्स नॉट फ्रॉम अ न्यूडिटी पर्सपेक्टिव, दैट्स फ्रॉम अ जनरल पर्सपेक्टिव, वो एक आर्ट का पर्सपेक्टिव है. अगर इंडिया में वही अगेन गंदी बात टाइप की चीजें नहीं, वो वॉयरिस्टिक टेंडेंसीज हैं, वहां पे रेगुलेशन की जरूरत है. बट अगर एक रियल सेंस में सेक्स को शायद दिखाया जाए, तो वो इंसान का मन पॉर्न से हटाएगा, वो इंसान को एक्चुअली एक्सपोज करेगा नए आइडियाज पे, रियल आइडियाज पे. और तब जाके जो, मतलब इट्स लाइक द स्नेक बाइटिंग इट्स ओन टेल. मतलब लोग कह रहे हैं, लोग सेक्स को सेंसर करवा रहे हैं, एंड वो ही प्रॉब्लम्स कर रहा है. दैट्स एन ओपन सीक्रेट. मतलब लोग सोचते हैं कि मैं सेक्स के बारे में बात नहीं करूंगा तो खत्म हो जाएगा. नहीं, ढंग से बात करो, लोगों को बताओ, समझाओ, तब समझ में आएगा तुम रोक क्यों रहे हो.
I think काफी that is just, I think it's a bigger problem. The problem is that we as Indians are very hypocritical. Let's just agree to it. We are the second most populous country in the entire world right now. So बिना सेक्स के तो वो हुआ नहीं है. It's not like कि इंद्र देवता या कोई आकर के
कुछ भी, हाँ.
बच्चे सारा लोगों को. Obviously people have done it, and वो
हाँ,
करने के बाद don't want to talk about it just makes no sense, because
एग्जैक्टली.
obviously I agree. uh, Content में आप दिखा रहे हो उसको, so show it in the right way. I agree with that it's just, first of all, it's just sex, right? It's not the biggest thing in your entire life. People who've done sex will understand that, okay, it's done, move on. There are other things. लोगों की नौकरियां हैं, relationships हैं, और हजार तरीके के issues हैं. But it's just like, it boggles my mind to see how much attention and how much free time people have to like discuss all these things. कि उस पिक्चर में सेक्स सीन था, अरे सेक्स सीन था
हाँ,
तो लाइक
आगे
व्हाट्स
बढ़ो
द,
ना, मतलब पिक्चर कैसी थी.
move on. So that's just how it is. I mean, I think it's quite fascinating how India as a country is so much against talking about sex or showing sex or even accepting like LGBT, relations. I mean, LGBT ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आप नहीं दिखाओगे तो वो नहीं exist करेगा. Everybody is free in this country. Everybody has the right to love, be with whoever he or she wants to, and it's completely up to them. I think it's as simple as, I will not be offended if you tell me, Siddhansh, that I'm a non-vegetarian. I'll be like, non-vegetarian, more power to you. I'm a
एग्जैक्टली.
vegetarian, my choice, right? It's very
हाँ.
similar to that. But what's the hoopla around it? I actually just don't understand.
या दैट इज अ वेरी एनालॉजी. मतलब मैं अपनी मतलब इफ यू आर वेजिटेरियन, इफ आई एम अ नॉन वेजिटेरियन, तो मैं आपको वेजिटेरियन होने के लिए शेम इसलिए करूंगा क्योंकि मैं शायद उतना सिक्योर नहीं हूँ अपनी नॉन वेजिटेरियन आइडेंटिटी में.
And
मुझे
chalo,
लगता है, मुझे
non-vegetarian,
मुझे
vegetarian तो still is like a very
different.
it's a very
Huh.
okay
Opposite.
conversation to have, because you're having lunch or dinner together.
Huh.
Oh, you're non-veg. Oh, I'm veg. But a sex, a sexual relation is something that is very, very private to every single person,
Huh.
right? It's
You
not
can't do
कि
whatever you
तुम
want.
किसी के साथ सड़क पे कर रहे हो.
Huh.
So how does that even matter to anybody else? It's something that just it's fascinating.
Yeah, that's a conversation in itself. Yeah. So thank you so much for doing this. On this note, uh, I really enjoyed the conversation. I hope you did
Yeah,
too.
same here, same here.
Yeah. So thank you, Shantanu Jain, for being here. I'll put your Instagram and all your handles in the description. Go follow him. And what are your ending notes? What do you think? How was the conversation for you? What do you think?
I think it
And
was really interesting. Yeah, like it's very open and it's very unrestrained, which is great. It's obviously very heartwarming to see, new and young industry professionals like you coming in forward to actually have these kind of conversations. It's really interesting to know about it. So we know that the industry moving forwards is in better hands. So that's
thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, any ending notes for people watching this? There are a lot of people who may want to come in the content industry. So,
I
any
think
ending notes for
just
them?
the parting thought would be I wish that somebody had told me when I had joined the industry, it's that you need to have a rhinoceros skin.
Ha ha.
Sensitive people don't come. Don't. Just like stop.
Sensitive
Stop.
people get shit on here in the podcast.
Yeah, sensitive people will actually cry themselves to sleep every night, which I have done actually in the initial stages of my career, because obviously there is a lot of rejection, there is a lot of heartbreak, there is a lot of feedback, there is a lot of criticism. Not necessarily all of them in order to make you a better professional or a better human being. Sometimes
Hmm.
people just pick on you because they're just shitty people. So if you're really offended by that, if you don't have a lot of support in terms of your own mental and physical health, um, just like prepare yourself.
Hmm.
That's the advice I have.
Yeah, because in the if adding on to that, because things like this media and Bollywood industry, it's very different from a specialized industry, which is a corporate industry. क्योंकि वहां पे क्या होता है, वहां पे एक थप्पड़ पड़ता है, थट से पड़ता है, गिर जाते हो, और वो इतना तेज पड़ता है कि उठना मुश्किल होता है. लेकिन यहाँ पे क्या होता है, इन कंटेंट इंडस्ट्री थप्पड़ पड़ते रहते हैं, चाहे छोटे ही पड़े, बट पड़ते रहते हैं लगातार आपको हर टाइम पे. तो
And that's
वो
the reason why you want to be a part of this industry anyway. Like for example, I was doing some show and it was doing really well, and just one random day I got a call saying that we're actually replacing you from this show. I was like, what?
बिना कुछ नहीं
How did
बताया
this
रीजन.
happen? So they were like, no, no reason. The chemistry isn't matching and the vibe isn't matching and whatever. So I was like, I just shot like so many of these episodes. Uh, like suddenly, kuch to, you'll give like a feedback that, this needs to better. They're like, no, it's just not matching. And then you'll come
वेरी.
to know that the reason could be that किसी के कहने पे आप निकल गए, या किसी
हाँ.
को आपका शक्ल नहीं पसंद आया. That is also a reason. So anything can happen in this
वेरी
industry.
वॉलेटाइल.
Yeah, it's very volatile. Tomorrow somebody will pick you because they'll catch you at like a random market buying sabji, saying that, oh, you look very good, you must do like a film with me. It anything can happen. Just like prepared for anything and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is.
On this note, we'll end it. Thank you so much for being here once again.
Thank you so
And
much, Siddharth,
like,
for
share,
having me. I
subscribe.
had a blast.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe, follow. Okay.